Technique number 14 in the Kenpo Karate for Christ Purple Belt curriculum is Gift of Destiny. So we're back to our handhold attack, or our handshake attack, where they're getting ready to do the sucker punch. In a lot of ways, this technique is very similar to Gift of Destruction, our first handhold technique. Whereas we talked about how the handhold techniques kind of show you, as the arm is the reference, what directions you can attack from, what kind of zones we're coming from. With Gift of Destruction, we're kind of coming in here from the left side, and we're intercepting the arm from our left to the right, but we're catching the arm on the outside. This time we'll be looking at, what if we do the opposite of that? What if we advance the other way, moving in with the right, and we're on the inside of their arm? What are our options then? So, but the handhold doesn't change. It's still the right hand. So they've got us in a right hand handhold technique, and this middle knuckle idea that we've seen already shows up again. And this time with our handhold, we're going to use that middle knuckle with the left hand. And again, tight with the thumb, squeeze with the pinky finger, so you've got that middle knuckle extended, and I'm going to hit hard into the back of the opponent's hand, where they're holding, they're getting ready to punch. Whack! First thing that happens is a quick shot to the back of their hand. Now again, they're getting ready to throw the sucker punch, so that's not going to do much to stop the momentum of that punch here. And in this next step, we're going to have to pull the arm forward a little bit, because you're advancing into range where if they were going to throw that sucker punch, again, like many of our other techniques where we move the attack's a circular attack and we're moving inside the circle where it doesn't have as much of the force. If they're trying to do a sucker punch, kind of a circular attack there, I'm going to move on the inside here, but your face is exposed to that punch. So again, not the best position to be in. We're going to defeat the where the technique leaves a hole, I suppose, in our defense. We're going to defeat that with speed, right? We're going to use these steps quickly. So they've got your hand here, and they're getting ready to punch. We're going to hit the back of their hand first, right, causing an immediate pain response, and then holding that hand with both hands. We're going to step forward with that elbow strike, similar to what we did with Gift of Destruction. But now I'm on the inside of his arms. I'm between his arms, as opposed to being on the outsides. It's always safer. What we did in Gift of Destruction, moving to the outside, is a safer position to be. Now you're advancing in. You're on the inside of his arms. Here you're right between his arms, and that other hand's completely free, right? So we don't want to just kind of camp out in this position. You got to move fast. From here, boom, hitting them in the center of the chest here, the sternum. I've hit the hand, I'm grabbing the hand, I'm hitting to the sternum here. I'm going to bring my elbow up. Now, generally speaking, a good elbow shot is always level here. It's that last part of the forearm as you go towards the elbow. That's your striking position. We never want to use the inside of the elbow. That's where the funny bone is, right? That's a terrible elbow strike. You'd be hitting your funny bone, in effect, on whatever you're trying to hit. So that's why we use this side. It doesn't have the funny bone. There are rare occasions where we can use the top. And here's one where we're going to use the top. We're going to use what's called a flapping elbow. Flapping like a chicken. Up and down. So I hit his hand, I step in, boom, still holding his hand, I hit to the elbow and immediately pop that elbow straight up. And if you've hit them center mass, their head should come forward. This comes up and pops them in the chin. Boom. And I'm going to wrap over their arm, pinning their arm in my armpit here. And it allows me a second to reset my grab, because we're going to set up an inward wrist lock. That's new basic for this particular technique. In fact, when you get into studying the black belt levels, we're going to come back and revisit every one of these techniques, and we'll be doing the extensions for them. And there'll be 2 extensions for every technique you've already studied. They kind of ask the question, well, what if what we've done isn't enough? What if we need to further be able to restrain this person? Or if we haven't created, you know, our enough damage or inflicted enough force on this person in order to get ourselves out of the situation. So there's two extensions. One extension answers the question, well, if you wanted to restrain them, what could you do? Kind of a jujitsu answer. And then the other one will extend it with more of the striking, kicking, karate options that we have to extend the technique. And the jujitsu extensions that we're going to be quite early seeing are these wrist locks. Inward wrist lock, outward wrist lock. So what you're going to see within this technique is setting up what will be extensions at a later point. So from here, first part we've hit to the hand, we step in an elbow strike, immediately pop that elbow up, hitting them in the chin, and come over the arm, pinning that arm in your armpit so you can re-grab. Now I want my thumbs to be on the back side of their right hand. I want my left hand coming over here, catching the top, and then the right hand coming from the bottom to grab, so that both thumbs here are on the back of his hands. Got good control of it, setting up that inward wrist lock, and I want my fingers tight around the bottom of the wrist here. So we've got full control of that arm. He still has that other hand though. He's had that other hand to hit you with. We've moved close so that you're not really in punching range anymore. It'd be hard for them to hit somebody that's like right up on them and get a lot of force with it. You are still kind of in elbow range. There's plenty of options that they have, so we need to get out of dodge, right? We can't hang out in that position anymore, and you've done about as much damage as you can do. And them not overcome and the pain that you inflicted and be able to follow up with more attack. So after this elbow, after we get to the chin, after we grab all that together fast, I'm going to turn towards him, still holding that arm kind of pinned in my elbow, or under my arm, here in my armpit. And as you do, you will lock their arms straight, and that'll bend them forward. Now you've taken away that other punch. Now we're gaining control of the situation. As you twist this way, it'll bend them forward. Then from here, to get that distance that I've wanted from the get-go, is I'm going to step back and circle the arms in a big arc where I can apply that inward wrist lock. Right? We're turning the hand, fingers up, bending them forward, making them top-heavy, kind of table-topping them there. And I want to push the fingers, kind of pull back and push the fingers a little bit towards the head. We're going to control them with this inward wrist lock position. And once you've got them bent over, then we're going to finish. The last attack will be off the right foot and front kick to the targets that will be available. Probably most likely be the, you can get to the head or you can kick to the ribs. But in either case, after I kick, I'm going to release, do my full cover out to 6 o'clock there. So this technique is introducing our inward wrist lock, which you've seen at this point. We've done an arm bar, we've done a figure 4, now we're looking at that inward wrist lock. So that is Gift of Destiny. Hit the hand, step in an elbow strike. Be sure you pinned it with both hands. Hit up to the chin and wrap over, grabbing their arm, and change your grip. This should allow you just a second to adjust your grip. Otherwise, you can't release their hand in mid-space. You've lost control of the situation, right? So again, I hit the back of the hand, elbow strike. Hit up to the chin. Come over, wrapping that arm, pinning it in my armpit, and readjusting my grip. To step back, gaining that distance again with an inward wrist lock. And then from here, finish with a big front kick off the right, full cover out, 6 o'clock. That is Gift of Destiny.